morning. Good morning, listeners. Jessica Kupferman here with my co-hosts, Melissa Brilliant. Now you're supposed to say hello. And John Buchanan, better known as John John. How you doing, John John?
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or whatever time of the day you're listening to this.
You know, I have friends that listen to this just because she feels like she's still having conversations with me like she did in high school.
Really?
Isn't that great?
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of neat. Should invite her on the she
that means she doesn't have to.
I would love to invite her. That's so you can interview her and find out what a shithead I was back then?
No, I don't.
She would actually, listen, her name is Jessica also, and Jess, if you are listening, I would be happy to send you a mic if you would like to come on the show. I think it would be so fun to have you.
Yeah, we could always go over and get your dad's mic.
Jess and I we've always been a good team, and we've had some really funny conversations. In fact, well, I won't tell you about it now, because what if it comes up later? Okay. So, any weekend news? Melissa, did you have like some kind of in-laws exciting thing happen? Because you mentioned something. We Marco Polo you guys now, and if you don't Marco Polo with your friends, don't start now, because it's terrible.
I'll tell you with whom not to Marco Polo.
You should definitely not do it, because some people hog all the Marco Polo attention, and then there's 1,000 videos to catch up on.
Hours.
No one in this room, but, people.
Really?
Hours.
And hours of, it's like I honestly feel like I'm on this person's show, and I'm just a supporting actress in my own life, because other people just... Anyway, it doesn't matter.
If you want to support my Marco Polo, please go to Patreon.
Oh my God, could you imagine? Could you just imagine?
For $1 a month, I can do more of these for you if this isn't annoying enough.
It's fun sometimes, but it's hard for me to keep up with, because I have terrible ADHD, and like Carrie, like for example, my friend Carrie, like I'm trying to keep up, and all of a sudden I see Carrie Marco Poloing her cat going. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life now? Now what are we doing with our lives? I have to see her like pet her cat. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Love you, Carrie.
Although I have to say, and I'm probably not allowed to bring this up, but I am anyhow. The other night when Melissa got drunk and was eating all the snacks.
Oh, she ate all the snacks.
And not only,
that was worth Marco Polo.
That was my
sure.
favorite Marco Polo moment.
Wait, let me get this straight. It wasn't your favorite Marco porno moment when Jessica, her son, pulled her shirt down and her tit flopped out. It was me drinking and eating.
On.
That did not happen. I know you're trying to deflect.
Almost happened. It almost happened.
It didn't even come close to happening.
You didn't even see a little bit of nip. That did not happen.
Yeah.
Hey, a little bit of nip is enough.
You didn't even see that. The fact that you drunk Marco Polo'd for the better part of almost 2 hours. The funniest. I'm in the middle of editing, and normally it would annoy me, but they were so funny that I just left it on, so she would just pop on. She'd go, shh, don't tell anybody. And I'm like, I go right to Jessica, and I'm like, Melissa's drunk Marco Poloing. You got to get into this. It was the funniest thing.
It was a really tough night. I'm really not a drinker, so
that's
the
obvious.
amount of vodka that I had was enough to get somebody who was a drinker pretty schnookered. My kids just kept fighting. I think it was a Thursday night or something like that. It was too much, and I said, I can't believe you've driven me to this. My body doesn't deal well with alcohol next day, so I don't usually drink. And then I'm jealous of all these people who have this out of feeling better, because anything I would use to feel better, I can't. It's not legal. It's not. I'm raising kids. I have
That's it, kids. You know what you made me do?
Pretty much. So I didn't want them to know I was doing it, and I was turning to that when I was so fucking annoyed I didn't know what to do with myself. So I avoided it. I tried to keep it on the down low, but it seems as I worked my way through the pantry, bottom shelf to top, it was hard to keep under wraps.
Especially when you have a video app.
What was motivating you? What was going through your head in the moment, Melissa? Was it I'm hungry, or let me see what this tastes like?
It was, tasty cakes. Let's try these. Ooh, Lay's chips.
Let me see what this tastes like.
I like the texture of this. Let's see if there's dip to go with these Lay's chips.
So no recreational drugs whatsoever, just vodka snacks. And then later vodka shits.
Yes, that was the issue. Oh yeah, I met you the next day.
What tasty cake pairs well with Kettle One?
I
Was
did
it Kettle One?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it's Kettle One.
bitch.
I got good
Fancy
stuff.
bitch.
I had good stuff. I don't have anything anymore. I just drank the whole thing. I had
Kettle One
a
in here right now.
cookie bar. I had a chocolate chip cookie bar. Tasty
Okay.
cake. Texture. It's with me. It could taste like anything. It's the texture. It was
Tasty
like
cakes
that
are revolting.
soft. I don't know. The coffee cake ones got me through freshman year of college.
Yeah, see,
Revolting.
now a lot of people won't realize what we're talking about when we say tasty cake because that's like a Northeast thing. I don't think they're all over. It's a Philly thing. It's like a better Little Debbie's or a much better Hostess.
Little Debbie's that bitch.
Like Hostess is garbage. Like if you ate tasty cakes, you would take Little Debbie's and go and throw it right in the trash.
That's true, but both of them are disgusting. No.
So can I ask you? You guys like the butterscotch crumpets?
The crimpets are amazing. Butterscotch crimpets are amazing.
No.
Well, all right. What about a tandy cake, either peanut butter or chocolate?
No.
No tandy cakes? A chocolate junior? The chocolate cupcake? The cream-filled cupcake?
I like the one
butter-
that has the white swirl on the top. The one that Hostess or Drake's Hostess
Oh,
Hostess
stop
makes.
it. You can't even compare the two.
I
the
love
one
them.
Is, ugh. It's like
I love them.
It's like those snowballs that Hostess sells with
That's
the coconut.
disgusting.
They are
How is it that I'm like 100 pounds heavier than Melissa, yet I don't eat tasty cakes? That seems violently unfair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I agree with that too.
Violently unfair.
I'm a donut, and I like those cookie bars. That's what I got. my
What
kids.
about tasty cake pies? Now, some of them, the lemon tasty cake pie is my absolute favorite.
I've never had any of them.
Really?
Yeah, I've never had any of them.
They're
I'm a
amazing.
cupcake girl.
Oh,
Pies. I don't pie.
oh they're like
You like
just
pies?
oh my God, they're just a little taste of heaven.
Hair pie.
They're nice. I don't know about that. That's not a little taste of heaven.
Wait,
Sometimes
wait.
that's a
I'm gonna
workout.
pull a Jessica.
That's
Hair
from
pie!
Revenge of the Nerds.
Hair pie.
That's from Revenge of the Nerds, by the way.
I got you.
Yeah, no. No,
No.
I don't eat any of that. Yeah, I don't eat any of that stuff. But I did eat everything else in the house. Again, for me, snacking is just texture and how to keep my mouth moving.
It was basically a binge. You did a binge.
Because the talking wasn't enough, so we may as well eat all the things.
I wasn't even aware that I was talking, or I probably wouldn't have been Marco pornoing.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
I wasn't aware. I talked to myself. That's another thing. I talk to myself literally all day long. All day long.
Don't admit that in public.
Am I in public? It's just the three of us. It's just
You
the
think.
three of us talking
Yeah,
right now.
it's the 300 of us, really, but okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. So all day long. Sometimes I mask it with the dogs. I'll be like, hey, guys,
Oh,
can
my
you believe
God.
the kids are coming home from school in an hour? I can't believe the day went so quickly. Or
Each of the dogs are looking at each other and saying, "Are we getting a treat?"
This is the saddest thing you've ever said.
What is she saying? I don't know. Just look at her and wag that stump so we get a treat.
did she say cookie? Did she say cookie? I think she said cookie. Hey, hey, hey. She say cookie? Did she say out, 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 cookie?
Right.
Yeah, no. None of those words. None of those words. But
This
yeah,
is
and then to myself.
This is a sad side of you.
But if I put on like a podcast or Netflix in the back while doing things, I talk less. So I've been doing that. I'm a talker.
I'm a talker. What
You
can
know
I
that.
say?
You know that.
I do know that.
You know, there's somebody that's alone more than either one of you two is me. I mean, I live alone. I work alone. I
You breathe alone.
breathe alone. Yeah, and I don't do any of that talking to myself. But I do find myself doing a lot of social media, see what everybody else is doing.
Wait, you don't talk to your, being a man of solitary everything, you don't talk to yourself?
No, not really.
So it could get to leaving the house and the first time you speak could be dinner time when you see somebody else.
My first time of speaking during the day is when I pull up to the drive-thru and say, "I'll have an extra large with two sweet loaves and cream, please." That's the first words out of my mouth every day. Although today,
At least you leave the house.
I didn't have time, so I got
I'm
my
impressed by that.
Dunkin' Donuts thermos. I made a pot of coffee for the first time in like 3 months, and I brought it down here, and I'm going through that. So,
Is it the same?
no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah. I tried to make my own Starbucks iced tea for a while. For a couple of months I did it. But it ain't the same.
Well,
It
for me, it's the getting out. It's almost like
He needs to leave. He's saying he has to leave the
Yeah,
house.
I work from home. So what I do is I get in my car, I go get coffee. It's like my commute. I go in my car, I get coffee, then I come back in, I sit down and start to work. I could just go in the kitchen, make myself a pot of coffee and get to work, but it's the whole getting outside and feeling real air and kind of doing that whole thing. I don't know. It's stupid.
Real air.
Yeah.
I like the real air.
The real air instead of the house air.
the canned
Actual real
canned
live
air. Exactly.
It's exciting stuff.
My fear is that when I leave the house, I'll have to talk to people. I think conversation with myself is so much better. So I told you, I put those ear pods, those headphones in, and I just walk around. If I have to go to the supermarket or a Target, which also has Starbucks, I'm happy that nobody feels the need to talk to me because I've got headphones on.
I don't know why everybody likes Starbucks. It is the grossest coffee.
It is terrible coffee.
I
agree. I usually have to get like a million other things in it. Just so
the fact that, all right, just tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Starbucks coffee is what it tastes like to me is if somebody ground up a car tire, put it in a filter, poured hot water through it, and put a little sugar in it. That's Starbucks coffee. It's
very, very strong. Car tire strong.
Yeah.
It's very strong. It's not for me. I'm an iced tea girl, but I love their iced tea. So I went to them. I got their Teavana. I did the whole thing. I used their percolatory thing and their cold brew, and it's not the same. Because I'm not willing to put that much sugar in something that I drink visibly, but if somebody does it for me, all right, I'll have it.
I got you.
But I can't rationally put like
the
that
sweetness in there.
Syrup and I can't.
Right.
Fascinating.
There we go. All right.
But I could chew anything.
Now that we've totally bored the audience for 15 minutes.
No, I know. What the fuck
coffee.
Are we talking about?
No, they drink coffee, and some are Dunkin' Donuts drinkers, and some are Starbucks drinkers.
Would it matter if I was bored?
Yeah, you could step out. John and I could cover it today.
No, that's not true.
Step on out.
No, I think John's saying he's bored.
So what did you guys... All right, so we record Monday morning at 10 o'clock, which is like the first thing. This is actually the first time I really talk in the morning. What did you watch last night? Did you watch the new American Idol on NBC?
No.
Or ABC?
No.
ABC. Or did you watch anything last night?
I did not. And I wasn't talking to myself either.
Homeland.
Okay, so you didn't watch the OJ, how he confessed to the murders last night?
No.
Hypothetically, air quotes.
Well, she tricked him into it by saying, if I did it, this is how I did it. If I had done it. But he's got double jeopardy. He could say whatever the fuck he wants to now because he cannot be held responsible or tried twice for the same crime. So let it spill, buddy. Let's really hear how you did it.
Well, last night he actually told everybody how he did it, hypothetically, because if you got to go back and watch it. Because if you go back and watch it, the lines blur. And when he first starts saying hypothetical, then all of a sudden he gets into it, and then you could tell he starts remembering.
Yeah, like I took the knife.
Right. I took the knife out of Charlie's hand, and I did this, and then the guy got in a karate stance like he was going to fight.
No way.
Oh, it is amazing. And the fact that...
No effing way.
Right. And here's the thing. All right, so the reason we got this little gem, because it's been on the shelf for over 10 years now.
She
Fox
got fired.
had this.
Yeah.
The reason was because American Idol went from Fox to ABC, and Fox did not want ABC to get great ratings, so they put this up against American Idol.
It's kind of genius.
Oh,
just
idiots.
to pull the ratings away.
It's kind of genius.
It is genius, but I mean, really, you've had this for 10 years. You sat on it, and this is when you bring it out because you want to give ABC a big FU.
No, I think that's it's Judith Regan, right? She's the one who did.
She's the one that did it. She also was the one
interview.
that authored the first Howard Stern books.
That's sad, man.
Right. So Howard was talking about it this morning, and she got
what did he
fired.
say? I missed it.
She got fired for doing that. He wrote like the book. If I Did It,
right.
They didn't even put that out, and the Goldmans bought the
I thought
rights
it was
to
out.
No, they destroyed the first whatever copies, and the Goldmans got the rights to it because there's no way he should make a penny for what he did. And now this interview is really just the ultimate confession after the fact, where he can't be held allegedly can't be held responsible anymore for this horrible crime. And that's what Howard was saying this morning, that he went on and it started with, well, if to, yeah. And that's when this guy, Charlie, I don't even know who that is because I haven't seen it yet. He said, that's when I took the knife from Charlie and I knew I had to, wait a minute, that phrase right there. I knew I had to. Dude, you just confessed. Like, not that it matters, but I almost don't want to hear another word from him. And I almost want him to just get hit by a Mack truck and call it a day. Like, I can't knowing he's out there, that he really admits to this now after putting our
Well, it
entire
wasn't now. It
country.
was 12 years ago.
But he's
It was
admitting to it.
1995. It was
The interview
1995.
was?
No, the confession was 2006, though.
Right, but the actual murders happened, I think it was 1995.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yes. 23
Okay.
years ago.
So
Right. So the interview is what's making me like absolutely
Crazy.
right. Because
Yeah.
what he did to our country at that time with the riots and the division, you don't think we have enough to divide this country that you need your bullshit murdering whatever to be out there on the front lines completely, both racially and morally dividing this country again? Come on, you asshat. Like, it just makes me crazy.
Okay, so here's the thing that I think everybody's overlooking. Who's Charlie? Because what he's telling you is there was another person there
An accomplice. Right.
who has not been charged,
Or a murderer. And maybe what if that's bullshit?
who can be charged as a conspirator. And I think I know who it is. I think it's OJ's son. Because who else would he protect? I think it's his son that was there. And he
You
tried.
think his son saw his father kill his mother and he's not already...
Absolutely. I think he watched the whole thing and he got
Get
out of
out.
there. And that's why OJ has never said anything about it, because he's protecting his son. That's just my theory. But I think that the oldest son was there.
From
when it
his
was going-
first marriage.
From his first marriage. And that's Charlie.
I've only seen his daughter.
So
Oof.
it's a really, I mean, for me to watch that, I was just, my mouth was, I'm like, all right, that was the time I was talking to myself. I'm like, I can't believe this guy is actually telling everybody that he killed him.
No, you were talking to the TV.
Okay, I was
That's
talking to
even
TV.
worse. You're talking to what you think are people and expecting them to talk back. I know I'm talking
Well, when
to
I start
myself.
talking to the Bagels, that's when it's time to come over here and throw a net over me and take me to the place where they
First of all,
the-
it's bagel. It's bagel.
bagels.
And,
Bagel.
Bagels.
and
What
you
did I
don't
say?
eat those anymore anyway, so shush.
I know I have a whole bag of them upstairs mocking me.
Throw them out, dude. Throw all of it out.
I guess I will. As soon as they turn green, I will, probably. Hey, do you want to know something? Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm not even going
I
to tell you
do.
about it. Dunkin' Donuts got a... All right, let me ask you this question first. Let me preface this first of all. What do you think is the most popular bagel?
Plain.
Sesame.
All right, what would be the second?
Onion.
Raisin.
Everything.
Okay. So
No.
you just named... I'll say, let's say you just named the
All
top
the bagels.
five.
We just named all the bagels.
All right. Dunkin' Donuts did away with the onion bagel, which is my favorite bagel.
That's my favorite, too. Can you get in everything in hopes of just sucking on those onions?
Well,
You're not getting them.
Actually, the onion is my favorite, too, and I'm very unhappy to hear this.
yeah, they did
Why
away
would they
with
do
them.
that?
I have no idea because I know I went up there the other day and I went to get an onion bagel with a. Well, what I did was they have a new sandwich out, which is an onion bagel with two things of sausage and an egg and cheese. It's like a double sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel. And I always get mine on an onion bagel. And I said, I'll have it on an onion bagel. And they went, sorry, we don't have onion bagels. And I went, ever? And they went, no, we did away with them. I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah, that's a shonda.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what a
Yeah,
shonda
that
is?
means
No
a
idea.
shame.
It's a shame.
Okay.
It's a horror.
There we
a
go.
horror.
It is a horror.
It is. I agree. It's terrible. We love those.
Right. It's not as bad as killing your wife and her boyfriend with a knife
With your son watching?
with your
Wait.
son watching,
Yeah.
If that was him.
allegedly.
Well, John knows it to be true.
I don't know it, but I mean, if you watch the interview, you can see where he's like saying, hypothetically, if I did that, hypothetically. And then all of a sudden, he just starts remembering.
Right. All of a sudden it starts flowing like
And you
think
can
that's
tell
what
Harry
happened?
Potter thing. Yeah.
he's not telling a story anymore. He's thinking about what happened and how
like
that
he
happened.
fell in the remember all from Harry Potter. He takes that silver memory and all of a sudden
don't you
he's
guys
in it.
think you're taking a lot of liberties with what's actually happening there? We don't know. We
Because
don't
he's
really
not a
know.
murderer? Because he didn't get away with murder?
Okay.
He said, yeah, I took off my glove.
know.
I took off my glove. Wait, what?
Yeah, and then she goes, what? And he goes, well, allegedly, hypothetically, I took off my
I must
glove.
have.
Oh, now
and
that
it's
I
because
missed.
they found the glove. And the reason I know that is because they found the glove at the scene.
Yeah, I took off my
That's
glove.
my OJ.
Oh, did
That's
you?
actually, my OJ's
I
not
must
bad.
have. It is pretty good. It is pretty good.
I think I might use that tonight on my podcast. I think OJ's making an appearance on my podcast tonight.
Oh, OJ.
Wouldn't that be amazing if we could interview him?
Well, I had my
So
theory. Well,
amazing.
he'll get his, right? And then after the murder, he tried to, at gunpoint, take back his paraphernalia that he had to sell for money. And
Well, I did go to jail for a few years.
right,
a lot
so
of
he wound
years.
up in jail. He wound up in jail, and I'm like, okay, wait, what do you mean he's getting out? Now I kind of feel like you just confessed again to, you know what? Maybe he'll get his again. I don't think he's smart enough to stay out of jail. I really just don't. I think he's
I don't
going
either.
to step in it again.
Okay, so
And I
Robbed
look
his
forward
own
to
shit.
it.
I mean, how stupid is that?
all right. So do you want me to actually? Here's something crazy. I could probably make you feel sorry for O.J. Simpson.
Doubt it. Go ahead.
So you know that there's a whole thing about the NFL and concussion protocol. And when these players played, back in the day, they used to play through concussions and everything. And they
Yep.
get that thing in their brain, which is,
Oh, he has a brain cloud
so he has,
like Joe versus the volcano.
it's, I forget what it's called. It's like 3 letters, like AIC or whatever it's called. And there's
DUM.
I think he has that, and all the symptoms that he described, the rage and the nice guy and all, is from that. So when he actually dies and they do an autopsy on his brain, I guarantee he has that, and I guarantee that's one of the major factors of why he ended up killing her and Ron Goldman. Because honestly, I feel that
Because he has brain damage.
he has brain damage, and what happens is from that brain damage, he doesn't have impulse control.
But you didn't mean that I would feel sorry for him. He killed 2 people viciously with his size and his
Well, you're really
anger.
You're really a black and white kind of thinker, aren't you?
Hey,
I guess
now,
when it comes to murder and when
Murder?
it comes to murder's a big one for me. Although
I'm
I
a
did-
gray area kind of gal, no matter what's
With-
happening.
so am I swaying you,
With
Jessica?
murder?
Are you feeling a little bit sorry for OJ because he has this in his brain, and this is probably one of the reasons why he killed his ex-wife and Ron Goldman?
No, because only morons play football.
That's the
Just
reason. Okay.
I'm joking. No, I just like to play devil's advocate. I mean, I think he probably did do it, but I think people just don't want to believe it because he always seems so nice. And this does explain that, but it's like kind of sad, but also
he seems so nice. The man couldn't put together a fucking sentence. He was handsome. That's what you mean to say. He had the look of somebody who was so nice, but he couldn't put together a sentence. I mean,
I was too young to think he was handsome. But.
Nouns and verbs and adjectives and adverbs were total
Well, so what?
mystery
Neither
to
can
him.
Mike Tyson, and he bit off someone's ear and beat his wife. People still like him.
Who?
He was awesome in The Hangover.
Mike
Tyson.
But who still likes him? Like, who thinks that he's, hey,
Who
let's
doesn't?
hang with Mike Tyson because he's
All right,
got
I
a-
wouldn't say hang. That's a good point. I don't know. I think I'm just playing devil's advocate for the shits and giggles of it.
I think he talks to himself too. I think he and I have more in common than I'm willing to admit.
OJ or Mike Tyson?
I'm going to say
I don't
Tyson.
know.
Okay.
I just don't want to. You know
I'm a
what?
biter.
OJ is a hot topic with people, and
I just found out I have more in common with Mike Tyson.
he's
I'm
not been convicted.
in my head, he has. Oh, yeah, sure he has.
But how come Judge Ito didn't convict him?
Stop it.
There's so much evidence, overwhelming evidence.
How come? How come?
I think it was mishandled. They fucked up the case. They just it was poorly tried, and Ito might not have had a choice. 90% of the people involved are dead.
Oh, the judge was a moron. I forgot about the judge being a moron.
Right. Yeah, there's that. Half those people are dead anyway. I say we do it again. Fuck double jeopardy. I say we take this confession and we
That's
do it
Just-
again.
Why don't we just rip the Constitution
Double
up?
jeopardy.
There we go.
Fuck double jeopardy. Fuck double
That's what I
jeopardy.
say.
Fuck double jeopardy.
Fuck double jeopardy. I say
God, there's
fuck
a
it.
Constitution.
Dun, dun.
This isn't mob rule.
Melissa rule.
Right, exactly.
I found this awesome article, bizarre statistics about sex and relationships, and I just wanted to go over them, see if you guys knew them or think they're true.
Okay,
Ready?
sure.
And if you had a chance to read them, that's fine. But number 25, after hearing music, women are more attracted to men. A University of Vienna study showed that women rated photos of men as more attractive and were about 10% more likely to say they'd date them if they had heard music 25 seconds of music earlier.
You don't even need to read the description. Of course, women are in their head. Women are emotional and in your head, and men are completely physical. Does this person turn me on? You don't even need to read anything more than hearing music. Yeah, that's emotions. That's in your
I
head.
think you
I'm
do,
in.
though, because if you heard like I mean, I would think it would matter what kind of music.
Well, they didn't go into that, but yeah, but music
they didn't. But they did. Several types of music were tried. Highly stimulating and complex music had the most powerful effect. So is that Bach or is that like the thong song? You think?
P.S. It's definitely not the thong song. That is not highly stimulating in any way.
You know, I'm so old, I don't even know what the thong song is, and I'm ashamed of myself.
Yes, you do.
Don't be ashamed.
I have no idea what the thong song
Be proud. Be proud.
Thong, 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 thong.
You know what's funny? Okay, so me and Jessica have a mutual acquaintance in the podcasting world. Her name's Emily Prokop, and one of her favorite songs
Emily
of all
Peck
time.
Prokop.
One of her favorite songs of all time is "Africa" by Toto.
I love that song. In fact, we used to have another a cappella song. We used to have another a cappella group in Delaware that would do that song, and it was amazing.
Shooby dooby 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 dooby.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is now everybody, when we find another version of that song of Africa, we share it among ourselves. And I just saw one over the weekend where a guy did it as like a rock version, like a, where that kind of version. And I thought it was amazing too. So, but it's the same thing as whatever I was just talking about that I just lost it in my mind. I forget what.
So music definitely we internalize everything, and that's why women are definitely moved by music and sex.
And that's why men aren't, because they can't remember 25 seconds after they've listened to something.
Correct. They just need to see a big tit. So if you would like to Marco porno with
nipple.
Jessica, you're fine.
Yes. Right. A nipple. If we see a nipple, we immediately take notice.
You're in.
I don't understand what the problem is with the nipple. Why is that such a problem?
I don't have a problem with it.
I saw a thing on Instagram. You're not allowed to put any kind of...
Who has a problem with nipples?
Instagram, Facebook, anybody. It's like, so in other words, you could take your top off, okay?
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, not now. Oh, stop, Melissa, stop.
Am I titillating you?
Yes, you are right now. So anyhow, so you can take a picture without a girl topless, all right? And then after you take the picture, you can go into your emojis, and you can take 2 smiley faces and put it over the nipple.
Yep.
Okay. And then you put it on Instagram, and it's fine. It's amazing.
Fine. Yep, you got it right.
But the nipple, that's the thing.
But men could post their nipples. Men post their nipples.
It doesn't that doesn't do anything for women. There's not one woman that says, "Ooh."
But if you play music,
nice nipples.
If you play music behind the nipples, we're in.
There you go.
Number 25.
Number 24.
Musical
1 in
nipples.
3 millennials say the first thing they do after sex is grab their phones.
Nipple.
But 28% admit they really want to check it during sex, and 12% say they do check it during sex.
Get the hell out of here. Could you imagine?
No.
I can't even imagine. As this,
but
in the act.
Here's what I'll say. First thing I do is check my phone after.
Really?
I have never. Yes, almost.
You think something happened in that 2 minutes? That you
2 minutes?
First of all, it's not 2 minutes. How dare you, sir?
Nipple.
It's been a while. So, first of all, I don't think that's a millennial thing. I also recently
it's totally millennial.
I also just recently learned I'm only 2 years away from being a millennial. Anyway.
Really? So you're really on the top end of that.
My sister is a millennial, but I'm not. That's how close I am.
Okay.
Secondly, I have never wanted to check my phone during sex. Well, no, never. I mean,
nipple.
If it rings, I have been concerned during sex, but I was dealing with crisis.
But they're not talking about ringing phones. They're talking about checking someone's Facebook status or looking on Instagram and seeing, well, obviously not Facebook if you're a millennial, but Instagram and Snapchat and who posted what and nipple.
Now, I will reveal this about my daughter only because I find it interesting. In her, she had boyfriends, up until the end or whatever. And she did tell me one time, she did ask my advice on how to deal with, she said there were several times where the person was behind her and she would look and he would be looking at his phone, porn on his phone.
Oh, porn. That's a different story. Why couldn't they share the porn?
It's not a different story.
It is. Why couldn't they share the porn? No. That's bullshit. Why couldn't they share the porn? Why couldn't they put it in front of her?
It's on his phone.
Why couldn't he put the phone on the bed in front of her?
Because
so they could both see it.
That's not what he wanted
because he didn't care.
It was just on his phone.
Well,
they were 18, 19 years. I mean, come on.
Come on, ladies.
But Have you ever?
No man has ever given you a photo of like Farrah Fawcett and said, hold this up? No one? Never?
No.
No.
I mean, I have had
Hi.
people who wanted to watch porn during, but it's on the television, not your damn phone. Like,
it could be on your
she
phone.
Didn't know anything about it. She would turn around, and there he'd be like this.
Oh, my God.
What an insult.
Yeah, that's not right. If they were watching it together, that's great. If he's watching it
But it's not
literally.
like my daughter is...
I'd like to know the motherly advice you gave her.
I said I would not like that. Tell him if you see him do it again, not to put it down, not to do it again, or stop doing it until he puts it away.
Or why can't we watch this together? Why is this something that you've got?
Honestly, because she was 18, I wouldn't have thought to tell her that. I don't think you tell your daughter, let's share this experience with one another. Like, I was just like, if you don't like it, tell him to put it away. I don't want to talk about what's happening to her from behind in the first place. That's why. It's nice that you want to tell her that. You could tell her, let's share it together. I'm her mother. Tell him to put it the fuck away and pay attention to your ass. That's what I told her to do. You know?
Had a girl. That's right.
So it's a whole generation of men that are being raised that because you've had so much access to porn and women who will really real people don't do that.
Right.
So what do girls now do or say to even keep the attention off of the device, like to even excite someone enough to not have them want to put porn on on your back, not to mention behind your back.
Right.
It's, first of all, it's fucking disgusting that they can't be, I guess, excited enough by a slamming 18-year-old girl.
Can I just be honest? The first thing I thought was, she must not be very interesting in that department, or he would not want to do that.
I don't think that's it.
How would you know? How would we know? She was traumatized as a young girl. We have no idea what she was like.
I think if she just sat there and did nothing, she'd still be a hot 18-year-old girl. And the fact that these boys have seen so much porn and they're so desensitized that if you're not spinning around with glowy lights, they're out.
I don't want to make generalizations about all boys, because let me remind you of something else. Shortly after that, she decided she was gay.
God, don't blame her.
I don't care.
So maybe she was...
But it's not her. It's him. It's him not being able to say, does this feel good? Is this like, do you like
He's 18! Has anyone ever said that to you under the age of 25?
But yes. But at 18,
no.
Yes, absolutely.
Bull.
And I was mortified. But yes, he totally did.
Yes!
But
the only time that may have happened to me when I was 19 is when I had sex with a 28-year-old man. That's when. That's the only time. No way did somebody that age say, does this feel good? Can we share this experience? You're 40. Try and remember what it was like when you were 19.
That's not what you asked. Can we share this experience? That's nothing. But yeah, definitely somebody has said, do you like this? Does that feel good? Or if you or if you see someone's face in this cringe and like, is it over? Like, you know what? You're with someone. You're not with yourself like you normally are while watching porn. Put your fucking porn down and be here, for God's sakes.
I think at that age, you fumble until something happens, or long enough for you to know nothing's going to happen. You're just fumbling around, hoping something works.
Well, you figured out how to work your fucking phone, so what?
I mean, that's different.
Why did you just cover your mouth?
You're right.
I snorted. I just realized I sniffed. I'm sorry.
You've been sniffing the whole time. I don't know why that.
I know. I'm still running. I have a running.
Well, you have a cold. It's a different story. You have a cold.
I know, but now I'm very conscious of it because you're like, I'm the sniff remover. That's my job.
Let's get back to millennials who need porn to score with an 18-year-old girl. Let's get back to the fact that porn has played such a role.
Saying I'm proud of them.
It's so easy
and I'm not
to
trying
get.
to blame her. I just think it's interesting that 12% do check their phone. 12 out of 100 people are checking their phone while they're doing it, males and females. It doesn't say just dudes.
That doesn't really surprise me. It's the porn while being that young that makes me want to...
Everything is boring.
I don't know. Then you're doing it wrong. And porn is not helping you. It's making it worse.
Here's a statistic that's going to make you crap your pants, both of yous. Ready?
Uh-oh.
According to a survey, 47% of females and 50% of males have sent someone a nude photo. According to a survey, 47% of females and 50% of males have sent nude photos before.
What was the demographic polled? That doesn't surprise me at all.
I don't know. Doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I know.
Next?
It's true.
Actually, the thing that shocks me is it's so low.
Yeah, I'm also curious at the demographic.
Yeah, I would
What's
think
next?
it'd be more, especially nowadays.
The next one is really interesting. 60% of marriages, if they get married at 18, end up in divorce. However, only 30% of marriages fail if you get married over the age of 23, which I believe for sure. I mean, it's not, but still, I mean, 30% if you're over 23 gives you a fair shot. I'd like to see how much it is if you get married over the age of 25 or 30, because 25, I think, is the age where we become normal thinking adults.
And figure out what it is that you want and that you're not motivated by the guy who makes your genitals sing. Like there's more of an intellectual factor. Like maybe, not just music was playing. Nipple.
They have to sing and dance.
With nipples. Right, exactly. Next.
Okay, listen to this. A study found that watching and discussing romantic movies that deal with relationship highs and lows can cut divorce rates in half and is as effective as going to marriage counseling. It also has the benefit of being accessible and affordable. So this is suggesting that if you watch Indecent Proposal or Couples Retreat, that it will be just as good as, if not better, than going to a marital therapist and can reduce your divorce rate in half. Now, I look at chick flicks and I'm just like, how many do I watch with Scott? Like, I have seen Couples Retreat with him several times, but like, I don't know that I watched too many.
Well, I believe that because
great.
marriage therapy is bullshit.
I don't think marriage therapy is bullshit, by the way.
What are some chick flicks? Let's look. Hold on.
Let's take our intimate details into some stranger and tell them. And then they ask us the question, well, how does that make you feel? Well, it makes me feel like shit because I'm here. If it did make me feel like shit, I wouldn't be here.
Many of these I've seen with him. Okay, so here's a list. You guys say yes or no that you've watched this with Stuart. Ready? Notting Hill.
Yes.
I think so. The Notebook. No. I've never seen that.
I've seen it. I don't think Stuart has.
Home Again. It's a new Reese Witherspoon.
No.
No. Mean Girls.
Of course.
Yes. Bridesmaids.
1,000 times.
Yes. A Walk to Remember with Keanu.
I hate
No, that's
Keanu.
not Keanu. That's Mandy. That's Mandy Moore and Shane West.
She's dying. No, I can't watch that.
No. Legally Blonde.
1,000 times.
Yes. Dirty Dancing.
1,000 million times.
I've seen it a million times, but not with Scott. Couples Retreat.
Yes.
Yes. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes.
I don't remember. Easy A. Yes.
See, John, here's the thing. You have kids. When you tell them to do something or tell them something is a certain way, they're like, yeah, fuck you. You don't know anything. But if they hear it from somewhere else, it has 1,000% more credibility than when you told them. So if you're going to go and sit in with a therapist who is supposed to be unbiased,
be neutral,
and you both share your story and your wife has told you 1,000 times, is it so hard to pick up your fucking underpants and put them in the laundry or 2 feet over in the fucking basket? If you know that makes me crazy, I might be wrong for being crazy, but just fucking do it. And you're like, yeah, you're overreacting, blah, blah, blah. And a therapist says to you, you know what, John, would really help this situation if when you do come in the house, if you thought about the things that made her fucking crazy and just did that. And then she turns to your wife and says, you know what? Maybe it's not such a big deal that underwear's on the floor if you just have him start doing his own laundry and blah. There are hearing it from an outside person has, for some reason, just has more credibility than the whiny bitch who constantly tells you what the fuck to do.
Okay. But
which is why I'm an advocate of therapy.
I noticed that. I'm sorry. I hit a nerve with Melissa when I talk about therapy.
No, Stuart and I don't go to therapy.
Obviously.
I wouldn't object to it, but I would love to go.
Well, you don't need it, so that's fantastic, and I'm so happy that you don't need it.
We're cuspy. We could think everybody could benefit.
But somebody who has been through couples therapy and has sat there, it's a big 2-on-1 with the woman therapist and your wife. And then when you express your concerns, it's like no big deal. Well, it's a big fucking deal to me, okay? That's why I'm sitting here. That's why I'm paying you $75 an hour to listen to our shit. And first of all, I think that the whole thing is, okay, you're worried about my underwear. How about not taking the credit cards and running up with a credit card debt 3 times? How about that? think maybe we could stop doing that. But I digress. Therapy's fantastic. Go ahead.
But therapy is also something where every therapist is not for everyone. You probably needed to find another therapist because yours was not a very positive experience. But I'll tell you this. My mother went to see a therapist in our youth, and she went to like 11 of them until she found one that said to her, "Oh my God, how do you deal with this? Poor you. You are the victim here." But there were like 7, 8, 9 of them before she got the answer she wanted to hear. And then she put all of our college funds right in his bank account to keep going back to have him say, "You are right. You are right. I can't believe your family treats you this way. You are right." So it's out there. You just have to find the right therapist who will make
So
you
want to
feel-
find a yes person. That's great. That's fantastic.
Or someone who could also give you strategies.
No.
You want tools and strategies and someone who gets you. You don't want someone who only gets your ex-wife at this point.
Well, right.
Exactly.
That's right. I've been, I went once with my ex-husband, and he,
thousands of dollars I dumped into therapy to get a divorce. Remember how much that cost?
I mean,
I want it back.
you shouldn't have done that. But like, I went one
should
time
sue.
and he lied in the entire session. Like everything I said, he was like, "That never happened. That doesn't happen." And then when we left, he was like, "I can't believe you told her this or that." And I was like,
That's what you're there for, you dumb.
"Well, you're supposed to be honest or you can't." Yeah. And he was like, "I'm not telling her. I'm not going to agree with any of those things." And I was like, "Great, then we'll get a divorce." And that's what happened.
Do you understand the concept of therapy? Do you understand what
He
this
doesn't.
is?
He doesn't care.
Jeez.
He doesn't give a shit. That's why he would rather lie, which is why I was getting a divorce. So anyway, with Scott, I was so burnt from that experience that like I told him I'm not going to marry anybody unless we go to a year of counseling. And so we did. We did a year of marital counseling before we got married, just to make sure we were on the same page about everything.
That's a good
He's
idea.
a saint.
It was.
He is a saint.
Man, you have no idea.
He's
You have
a
no
good
idea.
boy.
Right.
You have no idea. You have no idea what he did. 3 months into dating me, I had to start taking this course for how to parent a spirited child, a difficult child, my other son.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had been kicked out of 3 daycares in 2 weeks, and he was just like a rambunctious nightmare, kind of. And I was like, I have to take this course, and this is what's been suggested by the psychiatrist. And he was like, great, I'll take it with you.
Oh.
3 months in, he took the course with me, showed up with a notebook, and filled it full of notes the entire time.
Attaboy. He's a keeper.
He is a saint.
He is a saint.
He's a definite keeper. I know. He really
Good guy.
is. Anyway, okay, next one.
Because John would have been in the car, and you would have all you to see was taillights and dust.
Bullshit. I think if you loved someone, you would have. I know you well enough.
3
to know that's
months?
bullshit.
I don't think I could love anybody that much in 3 months to go through therapy.
And you loved her children, and you were 30, not 50.
I was 30 when all this crap was going on. I did that. Okay, because when you're 30, there are women.
See, you did do it. I knew you would
What?
do it. You did do it.
ran like somebody was chasing me with a knife. Is what I did. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Was it OJ?
No, it was not OJ chasing me with a knife.
Okay, next.
Go ahead.
12 minutes is the average duration of a sexual episode between American couples.
Is that with her making the sandwich afterwards?
I like when he makes the sandwich.
I say that just to watch the look on your faces when I say it. Look at Melissa.
I think it's
Melissa.
funny. I like when he gets the snacks after. I don't want to get the snacks.
Stuart's not eating any carbs. It would be a salad, but okay, sure. Go
Ew,
ahead.
you can't have salad after sex. That's just wrong.
You have to have a sandwich.
No, you
I'm
have
just
to have a
teasing.
sandwich or like a piece of cheesecake or something. You can't just eat
Cheesecake's
a
always
salad.
good.
Not if you're carb free. I guess he'll have a fruit bowl.
Ew. That's a
I
good
agree.
thing.
Fruit bowls, carbs.
Fruit after sex is good. Sandwich after sex is okay. Salad after sex, just get a divorce right now.
Right.
It's not sexy at all.
I've completely turned her off. Look at Melissa.
12 minutes seemed short to me, though. I just wanted to see what you guys thought about 12 minutes. That seems kind of short.
I thought it was 20. Didn't you say 20 or 12?
12.
That does seem a little
I
short.
mean, it depends on what, when, where. It depends on if this is a home game or
That's
an away
the
game.
average, though. The majority. It doesn't
From-
have to depend. Think of the majority. My majority is like 30 minutes.
The majority of times, you mean? Your average? Is that the word you're looking for?
My average is like, I think, anywhere from 20 to 30. I would say.
I think I'm going to have to
Silence.
take a poll. I think I'm going to have to go a month and then give you answers. I'm going to have to.
Really? You have no idea? You don't look at the clock before and after?
I don't look at the clock. And if I look at the clock, it's exactly
Oh my God,
12
I'm
minutes.
obsessed with time. I must be obsessed with time because I know exactly what time it starts and I know exactly what time it stops. And I'm not keeping a score. I just know.
Yeah,
I just know what time everything is all the time.
It depends.
Because I think, what time is it? Is Isaac going to walk in here? How much time do we have before he walks in here? Oh, good. We have time.
Wait, it depends. Did I take Ambien? Because if I did, it could be 3 weeks. I don't know.
You know, it's so funny. You just made me realize, but when you have young kids, it's never more than 12 minutes. It's not even more than 5.
It is,
because
though.
it's like you're
but
so
I have
worried.
to make sure it's the second he's been to bed. If we are going to try and do that, he stays in bed like 4 hours, so we can't piddle around. There's no piddling. It has to be like he's asleep. Take your pants off. Okay, we have exactly this much time. And what if it doesn't? You have to leave room for mishap or whatever. So
Jess,
it's like
we have an entire episode on the fact that Mallory cockblocked us, like that we snuck away for like a 6-minute, let's see what we could get done in the time we have, and then wiggle of the door. So like we steal what we can when we can. So 12 minutes sounds rational to me if in this quick.
You're in a different
except for when the
state.
kids go to camp. I'm sure it's probably.
Oh, summertime is very different. Summertime you can take
it's
your
like
time.
3 hours.
Summertime,
They go to
it could last forever.
hedonism.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. We
They're
go
in their own personal hedonism.
swinging at clubs. We invite others to come and swing with us. We'll be out in
Don't
the
invite me.
hammock. Don't invite me. We'll be out in the hammock. Who knows what'll happen there?
Yeah.
But
Um.
nipple.
Yeah, that just seemed short to me.
Wow, that
But-
sounds amazing.
Well, this is no shock. A survey distributed by Stanford found that habitual marijuana users were having 20% more sex than non-users.
That throws in my Ambien theory.
The study, which was adjusted for various demographics, found more sex was being had by users than people who abstained, regardless of the fact that marijuana is thought to cause lower sperm rate and increase libido. It's inconclusive whether or not there's a causal link.
So you just named two totally different things. We're not talking
I
about
know.
making babies. We're talking about wanting to get some. Lower
I know.
inhibitions.
That I believe. 20% while they're high, absolutely.
Sure thing.
No question.
Check plus.
Next one. Only 1 in 6 people over 80 said they felt they had enough sex in their lifetime.
I agree with that.
That's sad, though.
Well, that brings up what are your regrets when it comes to people sleeping with or not sleeping with? Like, do you have...
I never regret sleeping with people.
Right, so
I
it's...
Well, that can't be true. Hold on. There's too many.
Way!
Hold on. I must regret some of them. What I actually regret is not the experience, but my frame of mind that created the experience. I can't say that I regret the sex necessarily.
Right, but you regret at times not having slept with some people. Like, oh, I totally should have
I've
done
never
that.
not done that.
Oh. No, because I'm a
I don't
whore.
think I've ever said no, ever.
Okay, well, I have said no, and there I have regret.
John's face is like, oh, she's a whore. Great.
But yeah, I could see getting to 80 and being like, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but didn't. But I haven't actually regretted it then. Now I couldn't give a shit. But except that Dule Hill when he was in town, when we went to see him in town.
You were married.
Teasing. Nipple, I'm teasing.
I mean, I think when I'm 80, I'll want it again. But there's also a period. I mean, I wonder if like what they're saying is when you're 80, you wish you had done it more when you were 40. Or are they saying, I'd like to still do it now every day, even though everything could break at a moment's
And
notice?
nobody will touch me because I'm disgusting.
And yeah.
Yeah, we can't
Which
know.
is it?
We're going to need to contact the survey people on several of these things. So what's next?
Because, like, I'm 43. I don't necessarily look back at my life and say, I wish I had more sex. I feel like I've had an adequate amount at this point. I'm not saying I wouldn't want it more often, but I wouldn't die tomorrow feeling like I hadn't done it enough. But
Deathbed
when I'm
confession.
60, that could be different.
You could peter out between now and 60.
I mean, right. I could. For those over 65, the only reason they would stop having it is lack of opportunity. If that happens, then yeah, I'll feel that way at 80. Because that'll be 15 years of, is anyone going to go down my pants or what?
Or do I have to keep doing this on my own? It's getting lonely.
Yeah.
You already know I talk to myself. I don't need to do everything
And then
by
here's
myself.
a question. Like, is that also implying that those people wish they would have just had it at any time, anywhere with anyone, married or no?
Oh.
Or are they wishing they would have just done it more with their spouse? Like, what exactly is the
Can't know. We
is
can't know.
the wish there? But I'm asking your asking your opinions.
Well, I don't know. When I
We're
hit
not
60.
80.
How old were they when they were asked this question? Over 80?
80.
I just think
80.
they just answered, and then the next thought in their head was, I was wondering if we're having Jell-O for lunch.
Yeah, that's it. You got me in a hot second here.
I remember back in the day that
Jane Fonda's 80.
I used to be
80's
quite the
not that old.
coxman. I was a ladies' man back in the day.
According to a 2017 survey, only 32% of American adults plan to have sex on Valentine's Day. That's sad.
Isn't that the fucking holiday?
It's the love holiday.
Except for that one experience John told us about where he made the surf and turf and she walked in and said, go fuck yourself. And he's like, wait, what?
Exactly. Yeah, you know what it is? I'm tainted. My life, I'm 56 years old, and my
You're
life
bitter
experience has made me tainted on everything.
You're just bitter.
I'm a
You're
bitter old man.
How old were you when you got married? But you didn't get married
I was
until
36
late,
years
so are you
old.
saying
I
that
was
you-
36, 35 or 36.
So what happened between 18 and 36? You didn't get your fill in there?
I'm not saying. Listen, that's a whole nother story there. I don't know what you want
What
me
is
to
that
say. I
story?
didn't do bad. I was very happy with
All
everything that
right,
was going
that's
on
what I
there.
thought.
I was
Great.
like, you know what? It's 35. It's time to get married. And I went and looked for a wife like you look for a used car.
Okay, but if it was over tomorrow, would you look back and say, I wish I'd had it more?
No.
See?
I'm fine with it.
But you're not 80 yet either. All
Listen,
right.
I'll tell you right now, I'm 56, and
I got choices.
if it was between having sex and doing something else, I'd have to say, well, what's the other thing now? Because to be
If
honest
it were
with you,
between sex
know.
and a good onion bagel,
a good onion bagel, the kind
good
with
onion bagel
the
and
crispy
sex.
on the outside and real fluffy on the inside,
soft
warm.
and gooey on the inside, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that
He
is
could
a
have
toss-up.
he could have sex with a warm onion bagel.
That's not my thing. I'm not saying if it's that's your thing is a problem.
Okay, next one. People who are financially dependent on their spouses are more likely to cheat. 5% for women and 15% that men will. What do you guys think of that?
I think I'm financially dependent on my husband right now, and there's no fucking way I would cheat. So I don't even.
I feel that way too.
I don't know how to touch that. My seeking else
It has
something
nothing to do with
has
that.
nothing to.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think they asked a question, and that's not the issue. I think you cheat on your spouse when you're done with your spouse, like when you don't have any more feelings for that spouse. I think that's when the cheating starts.
Yeah. This one says, as relationships mature, sexual activity increases over time. Sex is more often in couples who have been married longer after the downfall following the honeymoon phase. So in other words, it goes up, then down, then up. What do you guys think of that?
What about the story? And maybe you guys can, because you guys have been married for a lot longer,
Put a penny in a jar.
right? For the first year,
Every time you have sex, you put a penny in the jar.
and then after that, you take the penny out and you never empty the jar. They
What?
say. All right, so you have a jar, and you put a penny in the jar for every time you have sex in the first year of your marriage, and then every time you have sex after that, you take a penny out of the jar, and they
After
say
the
you'll
first
never
year.
empty the jar.
That is not true, I don't think.
Well, it depends on how long you're married. If you OJ your spouse 7 years into marriage, you're good.
Right.
Fair enough.
You're good.
It's probably true.
Probably true.
What
else you got?
I never heard that, but that's interesting. Okay. OkCupid asked people what their deal breakers are, and 74% of people said they would never date someone who supports Donald Trump.
Really?
That comforts
well,
me.
11%. Yes.
That comforts me, but that's now, I don't know.
Just tells me there's
I
not
think
that many
that's very
conservative women on OkCupid. That most of them are liberals. But go ahead.
No, men are on there too. Men are on there
so
too.
a man
That's their deal breakers.
for men too. Men don't give a shit about that. What do they give a
they
shit
asked
about,
this
Melissa?
specific question. They asked
Yes, they do.
Nipples.
Exactly.
They asked this specific question, though. They didn't say, what bothers you? Trump bothers me. They said this specific question. Is it a deal breaker if?
No, they didn't. They said, "What are your deal breakers?"
Right, and they usually give
and
you
let
like
people list them,
4.
and that was one of them. And actually, I can see that because I don't think I could consciously go out on a date with someone who's just like Trump all the way.
Yeah, I definitely
would
could not
die.
show my nipples to somebody who supported Trump.
I'd have to
No
see what she
way.
looked like. Listen, if she looked like Melania Trump,
Oy vey.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't care if she liked.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't care if she liked who's we despise anyone.
Tiffany Trump?
Kim Jong-un.
There you go. I wouldn't care if she liked.
You wouldn't?
No. If she's hot, what do I care who she likes?
Okay.
So you're
All
saying
right.
you don't want to date her, which is what the people on that website want, that you just want to nail her. It's more of a Tinder thing.
Yeah, I would date her to nail her.
I don't know.
I don't know if
the
I'd
answer to
marry her. There's the thing.
that. There's the predicament.
This whole thing's making me nauseous right now, so what's next?
Really?
Keep
Okay.
it moving. Nipple.
What's
Keep it
why?
moving.
Wait, what's making you nauseous?
The idea of I date her to nail her, like moving right along.
Me, after all the
what men
stuff.
do
Yeah, exactly.
sometimes.
You know what cracks me up too is that women think that if you're a keeper, they make you wait longer. That's a thing because guys will hang out to find out what it's like before they make their decision.
We've already talked about this.
We have.
And why we have done that.
I told you about my short-term memory.
We have
No, but we
discussed
talked
that.
about this last time. The guy who told me
I would have liked you more if you didn't put
I
out
would have
immediately.
I would have thought you were a girlfriend material if you hadn't put out on the first date.
I don't believe that either, but okay. I mean, some guys, I guess they
Okay.
do, but it was never a thing for me.
Yeah. A study at UCLA found 84% of women are pleased with their partner's penis size, while only 13% of penises are bigger than 6 inches. 7 out of 8 women think that's fine.
All right. I mean,
I have no.
it's not.
No comment?
I have no
It's in the
comment.
way that you use it. Was that an Eric Clapton song? It's in the way that you use
It's
it.
in the way that you use it.
Yeah, big fan.
First of all, 6 inches is plenty.
That's another drop right there. I don't know
Absolutely.
what-
6 inches is plenty.
Better not
is
be
it not?
sleeping.
Am I incorrect? What do they say? Anything more than a handful's a waste?
I think that's
applies
But we
as
do
well.
I
love
think that's a
waste.
tit discussion, but okay.
I know, but it's also a penis discussion
Okay.
because anything more than a handful is what are you going to do with it?
I think it's anything more than a mouthful, but is a problem. So
Anything more than a mouthful is
I think it's personal preference. You have size queens out there.
going to choke you to death. You do have size queens out there.
choke you to death.
A survey of 47,000 people shows 30% of Tinder users are married.
Jesus, really?
Ouch.
Yeah, I know.
That's ridiculous.
Honey, I'm working late in the city tonight. Are you? Are you really?
Yeah, sad. Another study has found that teen couples spend more time texting than together in person. I fully believe that.
Oh, of course they
That's
do.
absolutely true.
Well, half the time they can't even get together if they wanted to because they're
Well, right.
It's practically between all of their commitments
Impossible.
and time and driving and all that shit. They can't even do it.
Exactly. Listen to this one. I love this one.
Nipple.
Couples that share housework have sex more often. The gender-neutral division of labor in the home can increase frequency and satisfaction. Additionally, couples that don't divide chores based on traditional man and woman tasks have better sex lives than people who do.
2 thumbs up.
Interesting, huh?
Wasn't those two things contradicting?
Nope.
No, it's saying if a man cooks and a woman takes out the trash, it's better for their sex life than if he only fixes the car and she only cleans and cooks.
That Jessica already told you that.
That's
There's
what that
nothing she finds hotter than seeing
Absolutely.
Scott do laundry or clean something or cook a meal.
No, he
She-
never does laundry. I do like when he cooks, though, and cleans.
Nothing
the
makes a
dishes.
woman's legs spread faster than hot butter
Faster.
than somebody doing a chore that the woman told. If the woman gives a guy a to-do list and he goes through that to-do list and gets it done, forget about it. It's a slam dunk.
Yes, but would you put porn
This
on her
must be
back
why
while
I
watching
don't have
it?
as much
No,
sex
I would
as
not put
used to.
porn on her back when I was doing it. That's ridiculous. That's the whole. I mean, it reminds me of the joke is why do Canadians do it doggy style so they both can watch the hockey game? I mean,
John, can you call my husband and tell him what you just said? Because I think someone needs to tell him that about to-do lists.
No, I'm not doing anything like
he's
that.
He's the kind of person that's just like, oh yeah, I got to fix that. Oh yeah, I'll take care of that.
Right.
Well, Stuart will start.
Never,
Stuart will
never
start
gets done.
laundry, and I don't know that he did it. And he's like, "Did you?
Oh, I hate that.
Did you finish the? First of all, I didn't know you did it. But on the other side, if I see him start it and I know he has no intention of coming back, I will fold and I will move to the dryer. I'll fold. I'll hang shirts, whatever I have to do, and finish it. And he's so happy when I do. So I like making him happy like that. So if I know it's there and I have time, I'm in.
There you go.
I put on my little Netflix on top of the dryer and I plow right through that thing.
I like folding it.
You like it?
I'll fold it, but I don't like putting it in. I don't like putting it away, and
Oh.
I don't like putting it in and taking it out. But I'll fold it all day. I will fold laundry all day.
I wish I wasn't talking over that one. She likes putting it in and taking it out, but
I do. I'll put it in, take it out all day. In, out, in, out.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Write that down.
Last one, which seems obvious. Between 1990 and 2014, American recognition and acceptance of LGBT lifestyle rose from 13% to 49%.
I agree with that.
Why is it only at 49? But yes, it better fucking grow and keep going. Why is it only?
The same study
Uh-oh.
also found, along with general acceptance, the amount of Americans who have had a sexual experience with a same-sex partner has doubled in that time.
Or just recorded it. Just admitted it.
Yeah, again,
Maybe.
I think it's easier to admit it, number one.
Maybe.
And I think what happens is, why is it only 49%? Because the older people were stuck in their ways, and, I don't think that I think a lot of it has to do with religion. If your religion says that, it's a sin, God forbid, they're going to say,
God forbid.
yeah, they're not going to say it's acceptable. So I think it's those two things. But I think overall, on a whole, I think that most progressive people that are not, very religious are accepting of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just nice that it's doubled.
I don't know. I think that I always say that sexuality is like on a scale. Like it's just you're either very hetero or you could be very homosexual, or there's that sliding scale that's somewhere in the middle that's not really doesn't mean that.
The Kinsey scale.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on where you are on the scale on how you feel about it.
He said very hetero. I wanted to hear him say very homo, and I waited. So it didn't happen. Sorry.
I did say very homo. I see that.
Passing notes. What's next?
That's it. That's all of them. Are you disappointed?
I am no, not at all.
Disgusted.
Should we do something else? Was that fun?
Well, I had a story about Mallory.
Ooh.
I do like all those sex stories because I think everybody wants to know where they fit in the general population about taboo topics that you can't really discuss with your kids, friends, parents, or in social situations. And you're like, okay, somebody took a survey, tell me everything. But I love that stuff. But I wanted to tell you guys that Mallory started her English class and she came home and she had, I guess the teacher wanted to evaluate where she was on the reading scale of like, what are your thoughts about reading and what are your feelings about it? What have you read and what genres do you like? But more so the psychology of it. Is it something you do all the time? Is it something you fucking hate doing? Just to find out. And they said, pick someone and interview them with these questions. Right? So she comes.
Oh my God.
She comes home to. I don't really know this is happening, so I guess she chose me as her subject. I don't know this is happening, and she starts talking about reading. Yeah, Mom, what kind of books do you like to read? And I said, well, this is kind of weird because we've had this discussion 1,000 times. You know what I read. Sometimes I do audiobooks and we listen to it in the car, and you know exactly what for long trips and stuff. So. Then she starts asking these questions and she says, do you read anything? What do you read most of all? I'm like, well, I kind of read Politico. I read topical, like Politico. I read topical things in addition to the mysteries and weird stuff and the crime, whatever. So she asked me a question about a book club. And I said, that's just bullshit for women to get together, desperate housewives to get together and drink. Well, turns out she took that information.
Atta girl.
She wrote an essay for her English teacher in school. And when it came time to the book club question, she said, my mom thinks that's just a BS opportunity for desperate housewives to get together and drink. And I don't know if I'm proud or mortified. I'm totally mortified that she...
Why wouldn't you be proud?
Well, she didn't tell me she was really interviewing me. It was just a conversation we were having about school and about reading, and I gave her my honest opinion. And if I had known that this was going to her,
you would have lied?
8th grade teacher, I would have said, oh, well, it seems more like... No, I would have stuck with it. It seems more like a social opportunity than an opportunity to discuss books that I would probably enjoy reading. And it's more of a club than it is... We saw The Breakfast Club the other night with the kids, and my friend came with her daughter when we went to Tor, Delaware, which is where Jess and I went to school, which was...
Returning to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, exactly. A totally crazy experience because the scene of the crime is totally changed. So there's no proof of anything, John. We are clear. If you remember from The Breakfast Club, they talk about clubs. Do you belong to a club? And Anthony Michael Hall says, I belong to the math club, the physics club, and... asked Molly Ringwald, do you belong to the physics club? She said, that's an academic club. I wouldn't belong to that.
Really?
In a book club, I guess I'd prefer it to be on that let's take it apart kind of thing as opposed to let's get drunk and forget we read a book or I didn't read the book. If you want to tell me a story, I'm over here in the corner on my 8th glass of Chardonnay. I'm happy to hear a story. So... I would have cleaned it up a little and said, no, it seems more like a social thing and not a reading thing to me, but I didn't get that opportunity to clean it up. So she, P.S., I believe she got an A on it.
But, girl.
But still, I was mortified that she took my shtick about I don't belong to those kinds of clubs. I want an academic club. Well, because I try not to be so opinionated with my kids' teachers and out in the world and out in... I don't go out in the world, but if I did, I would try to soften. No, never. I would try to soften things. Even when I do, we go out to the Amish market and get a yummy grilled cheese. I definitely say, Jesus loves me. Thank you. Well, I'm sure if I got to know him, I might love him too. But, it's a meet me kind of thing.
All right. So here's the thing, because I'm having a struggle with this myself because I'm the person that just puts it out there because I don't have time to soften it. I don't even know if I would know how to soften it. I think as I get older, I don't care if I soften it.
Loss of filter?
No. Why would you care?
Okay, so today...
You have less fucks. The older you get, the less fucks you have to give.
Today I happen to go on Facebook first thing in the morning. I should never do that because that's when I'm really kind of at my grumpiest or most honest. Whatever. So I noticed where I went into a podcasting group, and the first thing I see is, hey, would you all like to do a review swap of our podcasts? Which to me...
Oh, I wish I had seen that because I have a meme for that. A great meme for that.
I was like, really? Are we still doing this? Because to be honest with you, it's like, I don't know what your podcast is, and I don't care. But all I want you to do is come in there and tell everybody how great my podcast is. So let's do that. So I can have 50 reviews where it says, great show. You're doing a great job. Love this show. It's...
How'd you tear her apart, John? How'd you tear her apart?
Well, I just, so then I said, God, are we still doing this? It actually makes me throw up in my mouth. I can't stand when people do this because it's just, first of all, podcast reviews do nothing. They think everybody thinks it's like this magical thing to raise you up the rankings. And so, again, it's just a big circle jerk of podcasters doing this for each other. So I go through this, and then another guy that we know, Dave Jackson, he comes in and he's written a blog about it, and he's nice, soft message, and he explains it, and I'm like, nice guy, asshole. See, this is the difference between the two of us, but we're basically saying the same thing, kind of, sort of. I just don't have that soft message. So when people say something to me, I look at the message, not on how it's delivered. In other words, I'm not looking at the plate it's on. I'm looking at the meal.
Right. That's a tone thing. Stuart won't accept text or tone from a text. Or I said, that guy's an asshole. I can't believe he said that. He's like, no, you can't read tone from a text message or an email. And I said, well, I'll tell you what tone I just read from that email. Blah, 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 blah.
See?
And he tries to talk me off the roof. But
I agree with Stuart because I'm constantly getting, misunderstood through text. Constantly.
I think you're just misunderstood.
It's true, I guess.
I think you just misunderstood. You put a lot out there that gives people a frame of reference, so they just assume everything's like that.
I hear you.
You put it out there. But I don't want my kids' teachers to think that about me.
Why do you care what they think? Why do you care what they think?
She is leaving.
Yeah, why do you
school.
care what they think?
Why do I care what people think about me?
Yes.
I do. I admit I do. To a certain degree, I do, because I am in the community. I'm married to a pillar in the community. And look.
A pillar,
Yeah,
I tell you.
I call him the pillar. I said, we go out to dinner and you don't recognize any of your patients, but you gave that guy a rectal and his wife listened to my podcast. So there's that pushy doctor and his bitch wife. Like, I don't want to be known like that. This is our community. It's small. I don't want that.
small.
So going from the last podcast, nobody really knows the real Melissa because there's always a facade. There's always a front.
I don't know that it's a front, maybe a softening, but not a front. I mean, if you sat down with me when my kids fight and I have that
Kettle One moment,
17,000 shots of Kettle One, you'll figure it out while I'm eating through the pantry. You'll figure me out.
I hear you.
God.
And who wants to? Anyway, nobody cares. Everybody has their own life. They don't give a shit about me, and I like it better that way.
There you go. So why worry about what they think?
Yeah.
I guess I just gave her
Who's going to say something to you? Who's going to care?
I guess I just gave her a good chuckle while she was grading papers.
Absolutely.
One night. My mom thinks that's BS. I'm like, ugh.
For bored housewives to get together and drink, and she probably went, yeah, let's check.
I hope I gave her a chuckle then.
Absolutely. I just think that whole softening and, I don't want to offend anybody.
No.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
No, not like your words where they're snowflakes. Not like that. I'm just saying that I still would readily admit that I am not a fan of book clubs. I think they are more social than they are book club.
Right.
If it were a book, right. But I'm not saying I don't want to offend anybody who likes a book club. But nope, that's not for me. I'm happy to say that. I'm not trying to not offend anyone. I just don't need everybody to know that deep down I
mock and laugh at you.
I mock and laugh at you all day long. And I might be the only one I'm talking to while doing it, but I mock
dogs.
and laugh at you all day long. T-shirts, I got new ones in the mail sporadically. Why is it that I own 600 plus T-shirts and the same 20 are in rotation? Really just 10, but 20.
So funny. I was just thinking this. Like, I can't even get to the bottom of my drawer because I wear the same 5 ones
all the time.
All the time.
So what do we do?
I do not understand. What do we do? Get rid of them.
Stop buying them.
No, that's not the answer.
That is the answer. Stop buying
That
if you're not going to wear them.
I just got one yesterday that says, "Give me all of the puppies." So I'm excited to wear that one.
All right, so
I wear my.
Here's what you do. For every shirt you buy, you have to throw one away. Ooh. So you get a shirt, you got to give one up. I don't know if I could
do that. I had a purge a few months ago. I purged a bunch. But maybe after this summer, I will see what has still never been worn, and I'll do a purge then.
What I do is I buy a lot of podcast T-shirts just because I want to support the podcast, and I have them. So I have like 7 or 8 of them. And I'll tell you one of the reasons I don't wear them is because I don't have a pocket for my phone.
Mental note, Jess, when we do more merch, we will have a pocket for the phone.
Exactly. You need one, especially for a guy.
I made some writing pads, some paper with brilliant observations on it, and I texted it to Jess to see if I could get her.
I love it.
They're beautiful. To see if I could get her out of her house just to come over, because our girlfriend came over with her daughter, and I wanted to coax her out, but she was sick this weekend and couldn't play.
Oh, yep. I know. I know.
Wah.
Sorry.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I know.
John, would you wear a brilliant observations?
Absolutely,
shirt?
I would. Absolutely, I would.
Mm-hmm. We got ideas, and maybe our listener will too.
Our listener will buy a T-shirt.
Support with merch.
Right.
There you
Support
go.
with merch. Yeah, Jess, how did you like that T-shirt?
I like it. It's just that the arms are too short.
So maybe it's a 3/4 shirt are too short. They're too short?
Or long. The Brillo one?
Yes, brilliant.
It's like the shoulders go down to my mid bicep. Like the top is too, it's almost like they expect me to be like a gorilla with longer.
There's a name for that kind of arm, like a drop shoulder, or something. There's a name for it. John's looking at it.
I had to look to see if I had drop shoulder. I had to look. I'm not going to lie. I was like, uh-oh.
And then but then the arms are almost like ribbed. They're
Well, where is the T-shirt thing supposed to be? I think it's supposed to go to the elbow. Like, I don't know if you can see.
He has drop shoulders on his sweatshirt right now.
It's a T-shirt. It's not drop shoulders. Here's my shoulder right here. Well, it is a little. It's about an inch off. You're right. It's just cresting the shoulder a little bit.
All right, so we're thinking about merch and making some stuff. So if you're interested
Well,
in that, let us know.
I want to partner with the guy from T Public, so I'd like to try and make another one from them just to compare.
Yeah, that would be great.
So I'll do that.
The great thing about T Public is you put them up. You can make as many as you want. They'll put them up there, and you know that's great.
I know.
They have mugs,
and you can sell them to anybody.
Yeah, they have mugs, which I'm a big fan. I'd rather have a mug than a T-shirt because what happens with the T-shirt is, I need a long T-shirt. I have a very long body and short legs, so I need a long T-shirt. And no one makes them extra long. They'll make them extra big, but they don't make them extra big and extra long. So then what happens? I wear them 2 times, and they're a crop top, and that's the end of that. So I'd rather have a mug because I can't shrink a mug.
Oh, we break mugs in our house, but okay, that's great.
I think, matter of fact, what I'm going to start doing instead of buying T-shirts, I'm going to buy mugs, and then right behind me, I'm going to put a shelf up. And I'll put all the podcasting mugs on a shelf. That's a great idea, John. Let me write that down.
That's a good collection. Yeah.
That is a good idea.
Jess, do you collect anything?
Thoughts?
I used to collect, agita. I used to collect, when I was a kid, I collected what I considered to be beautiful magazine advertisements because I'm a nerd like that. Also, Sweet Valley High books.
I had all those.
But now I don't think I have a collection of anything. Like every year, Scott gets me one of those gold dipped roses from Steven Singer for Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, one or the other. But no, I don't really.
Has so much meaning.
Don't think I do.
Sounds like he's collecting those.
I don't find that collecting things brings me joy because I'm constantly trying to declutter this place.
Well, let me ask you: Can we back up to these gold dip roses? Because I've often wondered, who buys them, who gets them, and what do they do with them? So he's bought these for you for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day because they're so special that you can remember. So where are they at right now?
They are downstairs in the foyer. When you walk in, I have a little bar cart.
And there's like a
that
vase.
My mom used to have in her foyer. And there's a vase, and then I put them in, and they're all different colors. There's blue and teal
cool.
and red
I like that.
Green.
So I kind of like that idea.
It's just like decor.
Yeah, now see, I can see that.
Because otherwise, what do you do with it?
Can you take a picture of that and put it on Brilliant Observations? Could you post that?
Do you want me to do it right
No.
now?
I want you to.
Why don't we end the show?
Yes, I will.
And then you could do that.
Yes, I will.
So other than mugs, John, is there anything you collect?
The reason I say this is because my kids love Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. And since I have a herd, we always get at least 2 of the 30-pack, right? And they come in these really neat containers where they have kind of like a dip in them anyhow. And I say to my ex, I say, hey, save them. They make great little, you rinse them out, save them. They make great little things you can put like a meal in there. And she's like, okay. So she came over the other day and she brought 20 of them. And I'm like, how many times do you eat chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A? She goes, don't even ask. I was like, holy cow.
Aww.
So I have 20 of these containers and 20 lids. And I had to put them somewhere. So, of course, I put them in the cabinet above the stove. And when you said that,
where the pickled heads go.
The first thing that happens if I ever have a date come over here.
So if you were a new girlfriend and you saw that, what would you think? I would just think that you
ate a lot of chicken nuggets.
I mean, those are different. They're not the same as a glass jar that's been delabeled.
I have one glass jar that's been delabeled, and it sits on the sink. And you know what that's for? That's for peeling hard-boiled eggs. No, it's for peeling. So what I do is I put a little bit of water in there. You put the hard-boiled egg in there. You put the lid on it, and you shake it 10 times. And you take it out, and the eggshell just falls right off of it.
No way!
It's amazing. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I saw it on the internet, and I said, I got to try that. I tried it, and I'm like, that's it. This is how I peel hard-boiled eggs from now on.
Super handy.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Just the tip with John.
Just the tip
with John.
I love it.
There we go. There's the next segment. Just the tip with John.
Oh my God!
Dude tips for dudes.
I think we should end this shindig now. I think that we've put them through enough today. So thank you guys so much for listening to Brilliant Observations. Please check us out and get the show notes at brilliantobservations.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Listen Brilliant. And you can give us an email, brilliantobservations@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you two for showing up, John and Melissa.
I'm always here for you.
Me too.
Thanks for listening.